Darkness fell across the city. But instead of silence, the night was pierced by the terrifying roar of floodwaters. Torrential rains pounded the ground as if nature itself was unleashing its fury. Determined to swallow everything in its path, China, a nation long familiar with disasters, once again descended into chaos. Facing a catastrophe so shocking it left even the most hardened observer speechless. A major city, home to millions, has been reduced to chaos overnight. Floodwaters poured down from the surrounding mountains with unstoppable force, drowning streets that just hours earlier had been filled with cars, lights, and bustling life. Entire districts disappeared beneath waves of muddy water. High-rise buildings swayed under the relentless assault. Residential neighborhoods near rivers and hills were destroyed in minutes. Entire homes were swept away, their owners forced to flee with nothing but the clothes on their backs. In the pitch-black night, cries for help echoed as terrified residents ran for their lives. The city was no longer a place of order and prosperity, it had become a battlefield against nature. Landslides struck without warning. From the mountains above, thousands of tons of rock and soil thundered down, devouring roads, vehicles, and lives in seconds. Entire communities were buried alive. Survivors described hearing a distant rumble, mistaking it for thunder, until the earth shook violently and darkness consumed everything. One man recalled, "I only had time to grab my child and run. Everything else, my home, my family car, was gone in an instant." Amid the chaos, flashlights flickered and car headlights cut through the night, illuminating scenes of desperation. Children screamed, the elderly collapsed in exhaustion. Families clung to each other, wading chest deep through raging water. The air itself was filled with panic. Rescue teams scrambled, but against nature's wrath, they seemed powerless. Rescue boats crammed with desperate families struggled against the currents. Fire trucks and even helicopters were deployed. Yet many districts were completely cut off. Hundreds of people were stranded on rooftops, waving frantically for help as floodwaters swallowed the city below. On Chinese social media, shocking videos spread like wildfire. Buildings tilted precariously before collapsing. Bridges snapped in half, plunging into violent currents. Cars stacked like children's toys. The comment sections exploded. The city collapsed in one night. Others wrote bitterly, "All we have left is fear." Meteorologists later revealed that rainfall had shattered decades-old records. In just 24 hours, precipitation matched an entire month's average. The urban drainage system failed almost instantly. Combined with the unstable mountainous terrain, the disaster was inevitable. But what outraged the public was the lack of proper warning. Many residents never received evacuation orders in time. The result? A staggering loss of life. Local authorities scrambled to issue emergency evacuation notices. Tens of thousands were told to leave immediately. Yet in the chaos of night, countless families were trapped. From the skies, aerial photos captured haunting images. Clusters of people huddled together on rooftops, waving desperately in the middle of an endless brown sea. The city gasped for survival that night. Power grids collapsed. Drinking water disappeared. Food supplies dwindled. The sound of crying mixed with the roar of floods created a soundtrack of despair. People now call it the night of horror, the night when a city was brought to its knees by nature. At sunrise, the devastation became even more unbearable. Streets turned into rivers of mud. Cars lay crushed in tangled heaps. Entire neighborhoods were reduced to rubble. Survivors stumbled through debris searching for loved ones. The blank stares and silent tears told a story more powerful than any official statement ever could. Casualties remain uncertain, but early estimates already speak of hundreds dead or missing. Tens of thousands of homes destroyed. Infrastructure crippled. Billions of dollars in damages. Yet the true cost is beyond money. It is the trauma etched deep into the hearts of survivors. Observers point out this was not just an act of nature, it was a man-made tragedy amplified by negligence. China's rapid, uncontrolled urban expansion has left its cities extremely vulnerable. Outdated drainage systems, reckless construction on mountain slopes, and climate extremes all combined to create a disaster waiting to happen. And while citizens grieve, anger simmers. Why weren't warnings delivered in time? Why were so many left trapped in the middle of the night? On social platforms, brave voices accuse local officials of incompetence, even cover-ups. They ask, how many more lives must be lost before accountability is enforced? One survivor, still trembling, recounted, I watched the flood swallow my husband's car. He never made it out. That night, I held my child and screamed until I fainted. Such testimonies are flooding the internet despite censorship, fueling nationwide outrage. Yet amid despair, acts of humanity shone through. Volunteers and rescue workers risked their lives, plunging into furious waters to pull strangers to safety. Videos show ordinary citizens forming human chains to rescue neighbors. These moments of courage contrast sharply with the silence of those in power. Still, the central question remains. Will Beijing truly learn from these tragedies? Or will officials continue the cycle of negligence, only to watch the next city collapse under predictable, unforeseen disasters? Because let's be clear, this was not unforeseeable. This was not an unpredictable accident. This was the result of poor planning, reckless governance, and a system more concerned with saving face than saving lives. The night of horror is not just a natural disaster. It is a political disaster. It is a reminder that when the state values image over citizens, nature is not the only enemy. Neglect becomes just as deadly. The people of China will never forget that night. A night when water and earth erased a city, and when leaders failed to protect their people. And the world is watching a government that claims to be strong, yet leaves its citizens helpless against floods and landslides. This is not just China's tragedy. It is a global warning. Nature's fury is rising everywhere. But what happened here reveals something deeper. When governments prioritize control over compassion, the true disaster is man-made. The night of horror in China will be remembered not only as a calamity of nature, but as a symbol of human arrogance and the heavy price ordinary people must pay.